classic cars that you will see here at the show. It's a Jensen Interceptor and FF. And of all the cars Jensen of West Bromwich ever made, the Interceptor and FF were easily the most outstanding, beautiful and fast. The Interceptor was based on the previous glass fibre body, incidentally, the CV8, but featured a new touring-style body. FF, incidentally, stood for Ferguson Formula, and this was a four-wheel drive system developed by Harry Ferguson that, not unlike systems found off-road vehicles, split the torque unequally between the front and rear wheels. I think we'll go down now to Eddie Connelly, who's the owner of this beautiful... What colour would you describe it, Eddie?
It's cardinal red, I suppose, or maroon. Silver roof we had done because the FS originally had silver roofs to distinguish them from the Interceptors, and twin vents on each side, that also distinguished them.
And this car was originally an Irish car. It was sold in Ireland, wasn't it?
No, it came from the UK. I have the details of all the owners in the UK. I bought it down in Kerry. I happened to be down there to see a friend of mine who wasn't well, and I saw the ad in the Irish Times and got it in Terenure.
Originally was this car in something of the Ever-Ready garage in Donnybrook?
No, Ever-Ready garage were the original distributors for Jensen, and the brochure that they have, which I have a copy of, actually shows a car of similar colour to this one and the silver roof. So I'm sorry.
Okay. And you purchased the car in November 2001, and the mileage on the car at the time was?
Mileage at the time was 58,000. I now have 88,000, which has been wonderful driving it. It's a very comfortable car. It's a bit heavy on the petrol, about 12 to 15, but you can cruise along at 60, 65, and you think we're driving a new car.
Right, and what was it your particular attraction? I know you have a lot of classic and vintage cars, and what was the particular attraction that you had for the Jensen?
I always particularly liked the design of them. I thought they were quite futuristic and very stylish. They're Italian design, of course, by the Big Now Bodyworks. But the sound, I think, was really threw me. When I heard it, I couldn't believe it was such a rumble from the engine. It was really nice.
And just remind us again, it's the engine in it is what?
It's a 6276 V8 Chrysler, four-wheel drive, and it actually has Dunlop Maxeret braking system, which is the forerunner of ABS brakes.
And tell me, have you driven the car outside the country or on any long runs or that?
Being in the UK, we went to an international day there with Jensen, and it behaved beautifully. It was ploughed along on the motorways to keep up with any car on the road. The top speed of this car is 130 miles an hour. I would never drive it at that because it is a classic, but it was in its prime capable of doing 130 miles an hour.
Well, of course, that was one of the attractions of the cars way back in those days. It was the speed, the style, and the glamour of the car. Is that right?
Well, they were a pretty exclusive car. If you consider in 1969, this car was 6,139 sterling. An equivalent Jaguar Mark II was 2,500. So a house in this country at the time, I think, was probably about $2 grand, $2.5 grand for a semi-detached.
And I gather this car in its day was classed as the world's safest car.
They did a motor test in the Motor magazine, of which I have a copy there as well, and they said it was the safest, most comfortable car that they had ever tested.
Well, isn't that magnificent? A nice round of applause, please, for Eddie Connelly and his Jensen Interceptor FF. Well, now the next one...